Now to discuss the potential consequences of the Department of Environment and Natural Resources canceling its decades-old agreement with Blue Star Corporation, we are joined by Masungi Georeserve Foundation co-founder and managing trustee Ann Dumaliang. Good morning. Thank you for joining us.
Hey, Anna.
Good morning.
Yes, go ahead.
Umaga.
Ayan, magandang umaga po. Una sa lahat, natanggap niyo na po ba yung notice ng DENR?
No, we have not received it yet. No. Actually, when the press release happened, that was the first time we ever heard of it, which is also quite disturbing to us, considering how orchestrated among different groups this seems to be is. We were left in the dark all that time.
And paano po ba pagka nasa inyo na itong order na po na ito ng DENR? Ano po
We will respond to it. No? So, syempre, we are also preparing our documentation and our next legal steps. But we are confident in the legal remedies that are available to us. We will keep the public updated as we carry on with this.
Okay.
Yes.
Ang lagi pong nire-reiterate po ng DENR, no, sinasabi po nila, hindi po kayo sumunod dun sa inyong kontrata. The contract stated na dapat daw po kayo ay nakapag-build ng mga housing, no, para doon daw po sa mga government employees natin, particularly DENR, DepEd, etc. Wala daw pong nangyaring ganon. Your reaction to that po?
Well, my reaction to this is, honestly, following how they've been discussing it, they seem to try to keep it around legalese, no? But we cannot just keep it according to that, because this is a project with a huge history, and there are contexts that need to be considered as we carry on with these discussions. So, halimbawa, claim nila that the 5,000 housing units has not started.
Yeah.
Well, they have not cleared the land. They claimed that they have complied by their contractual obligations. They haven't. It's been so difficult for us to do all the work that we've been doing here. Second, if you look at what the pioneering model actually is, even for that housing project, it's actually referred to as an other effective conserved area measure or a conservation development in particular. What does this mean? All this time, even if there's a housing component to it, the conservation component is also a key aspect of the agreement. It's also a key aspect of the project. And wala namang take up in the early part because of the lack of, how do I put it, the lack of beneficiaries that are interested, delays clearing the land of illegal groups. Then why we develop kung ganon, di ba?
Yeah.
Point is, the conservation work that's happening there now is not against what we have committed based on the joint venture agreement. In fact, it's part of it.
So, ibig sabihin po, dun po sa inyong agreement, kasama po yung preservation ng environment. Ilang porsyento po yun, kumpara dun po sa sinasabi nila na nire-reiterate po nila na mali daw po na hindi nyo po nagawa yung housing for the government?
Absolutely, no. It is part of it. Right? When we were running the conservation work, when Blue Star was doing the conservation work in the area, it even goes up to 70% of the area should be conserved or more. And if you look at the commitment when it comes to the sizes of the housing facilities, it is absolutely doable. In fact, if you look at the lot involved, which is lot 10, largely as we know from past conversations, this is where the largest areas of the rock formations are.
Yeah.
No? You take into consideration that it needs to be protected, then you shouldn't be touching it. No? Shouldn't be so a huge substantial part of it really is intended to be conserved if we stay by the law, if we stay by what the contract actually says. Ngayon, merong mga iba who do not do that, no? But we intended to, and we have had a track record of doing that the last 20 plus years. And one other thing po, no, the terms of reference, hindi nila na-share yun, pero the terms of reference on how the joint venture agreement will proceed didn't come from us. It came from them. No, it them. They were the ones who said it.
Yes,
Actually, dagdag ko lang, no? Kasi but according to Attorney Tony Lavinia, no, sabi niya, anong 1996, he was part of the under their watch daw, no, sa DENR, it was President Fidel V. Ramos who ordered daw do the project. So nakita nila yung potential for ecological preservation. So they put in the provision that required the ratio of preservation versus development at then unheard 70-30% favor of the conservation. Tama po?
Tama, no? And additional context that seems to be missing. If you look at why the joint venture agreement happened for this area, fact of the matter was this was also a time when there was national consciousness around land grabbing syndicates. In fact, there was even a national task force for it. No less than 3 department secretaries of the DENR acknowledged and declared that land grabbing is a pandemic in these parts. It was very prolific. If you look at the joint venture agreement, it goes as far as saying that the need for this agreement, yes, is also housing, but also the urgent need to secure these areas from all of these sales that are happening, which are not sanctioned by law and by DNR.
So much has been cited. That's the reason why they wanting Blue Star out, no? So technicalities over the contract. But what do you think is another possible reason that they would want you guys out of there? Are you hindering a project or something? Kasi I'm just playing around. A lot of people are talking, especially mga laymen who don't understand contract terms. Bakit gusto nila alisin ang Blue Star?
We don't need to talk. I think punta tayo sa konteksto, no? Meron bang matatama ang mga proyekto? Ang mga huli nating mga nakabangga that have an interest in this area just a week ago was Vina Energy, who was given an ECC to pursue wind development on the rock spine. If you look at the map, it also overlaps with the quarries that we had canceled, indeed, but the DNR has been claiming has a title over the land. Context, we have not seen that title. It has not been shared with the Upper Marikina Watershed Coalition, even as they have requested for that in the past. And so you see the double standards, no? These are actually the kinds of activities that directly do not jive with our protected area law. And yet, the same gusto in making sure that these are not pursued and these are stopped isn't there. It's not dense as how they're pursuing what has been a project that has a 20-plus year track record in conservation. So parang mas directed po yata yung action. Imbis na yung mga sumisira ng kalikasan yung hinahabol, mas pinagtutuunan ng atensyon, habulin in a very orchestrated manner.
So moving forward, if things don't go your way, how will this impact the conservation efforts?
Well, we all know that these kinds of attacks are designed to drain people mentally and financially, and that's very insidious. What's disappointing is that this is happening from the Department of Environment and Natural Resources, a group that is supposed to be an ally of ours. We see these harassments happen to environment defenders all over the Philippines, no? And malaki ang impact nito because it is indeed the joint venture agreement that enables us to see the rock formations that we are seeing here today.
All right.
Yung 1990s versus 2016 picture, that is because of this joint venture agreement. If not for it, we would have lost these as early as the 1990s. No?
All right. As much as we would want to ask you more questions, hopefully we can invite you again to discuss this further. Unfortunately, we don't have much time. But for the meantime, maraming salamat sa iyong oras. Masungi Georeserve Foundation co-founder and managing trustee Ann Dumaliang. Thank you so much.
Maraming salamat.